It's been 3 weeks since Mists of Pandaria Classic has been out, allowing players to re-experience or experience for the first time the 5th installment of World of Warcraft. Players get to experience the new Content of Pandaria, level from 85 to 90, experience new dungeons, do dailies, and even more dailies, farming, challenge modes, arenas, and the first new raid being the Mogoshan Volts. And with the recent raid numbers releasing from Ironforge Pro, a third-party site that tracks all individual log raids from Warcraft logs, we've seen record low numbers with the first week of raiding, leading to speculation and even some concern about the state of WoW Classic. So why are these numbers so low? What's going on? In this video, we're going to talk about all that and do a deep dive on MoP Classic and its launch. And even with all these low numbers we're seeing, can we still call this launch and Mists of Pandaria Classic a success? First, let's just talk about Mists of Pandaria purely from a gameplay standpoint. I personally have really been enjoying the gameplay of Mists of Pandaria, and I want to emphasize why I'm saying that, because I'm not talking about what I've experienced in Mists of Pandaria Classic. I want to talk about what Mists of Pandaria offers. Pandaria is, in fact, just one of the most beautiful continents ever added in World of Warcraft, with amazing scenery, lush colors and environments, and an insanely good soundtrack. This is just one of the best zones ever created in WoW. Getting to actually play this on a strong PC and really get to experience all the zones for what they are for the first time truly can be breathtaking. Although it was a mess to quest at the start, when I quested and leveled up my second toon, I really enjoy the leveling experience simply because of just how beautiful these zones are and how cool the lore is in this expansion. Minus that quest chain in the Jade Forest where we have to replay the events of the Alliance or Horde soldiers, because man, that quest chain is a drag. But story-wise, lore-wise, character progression-wise, this is one of the best expansions. And side note, I never PvP in WoW, but I wanted to try it out in Mists, and I love it. Even though I'm terrible at it, it's still so much fun. But not everything is great in Mists. Going back to leveling, it does feel like a drag as you progress, as without buffs like the Darkmoon Fair 10% buff or having rested XP, it takes quite a while to get from 85 to 90 without doing boosts like monkey runs or tank boosts in various zones. And although dailies are something you can do, there are just so many of them and it becomes a chore very fast. And for players like myself who want to get the best options for gear as quick as you can, it doesn't feel like it's an option, but a requirement. Now, some reputation dailies though, like August Celestials, are quick, easy, and sometimes fun. I always enjoy getting the White Tiger Temple dailies, as they're a play on Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, and I really enjoy the Torch daily as well. And plus, all the temples are just so beautiful, I have no issue traveling the zones and just admiring the artwork. But others, like the Golden Lotus especially, are so damn tedious. I want to know who was the dev that thought the reward for getting to Revered is more dailies to do a day? Why not just give us more reputation and gold for doing the dailies, or different spots to do the dailies in? Who thought that more dailies was a good idea? In that one zone you can get dailies from with the Klaxi, where you have to kill like 40 Mantid without any vehicle help? Yeah, who thought of that too? And my last rant about dailies, why do they give so many of these mobs you have to kill for daily stuns and knockbacks? That pisses me off so much, and it makes doing these dailies even worse than they already are. Why do they give the mobs so much annoying shit? They're just daily quest mobs, man. Dailies are supposed to be fast, man. But outside of the dailies, I really can't complain. PvPing is really fun, and even if you're bad at it like I am, you still get really good gear rewards for both PvP and PvE by doing these arenas and RPGs and whatnot, which makes it attractive to all players, not just those who love PvP. And I've been told that PvP was peak in MoP, so overall, it's just a great feature in this version of the game. Overall, I really like Mists of Pandaria, the game. I really enjoy it. I didn't play it until my first time through, so playing it for real this time has been very enjoyable for the most part. But now let's talk about Mists of Pandaria Classic and the launch experience that we were given. I'm just gonna be brutally honest, it wasn't just bad, it was the worst re-release of an expansion we've ever gotten. Blizzard gave us 2 stress tests, an extended beta in PTR, and somehow we still got this launch experience. Players who chose to quest instead of starting off doing dungeon grinds, which should be a viable option to do, you should get to quest if you want to, were punished because Jade Forest was just unplayable. Your character was stuck there, you were DCing, you couldn't play the game. And this thing I'm going to talk about is just probably super small to others, but it's a really big deal to me. One thing I loved about Mists of Pandaria, my first time playing it back in 2013, was the first quest you did in the Jade Forest. I played Alliance. When you get on the gunship and they send you on that little ship and you're like shooting down and like fighting the horde in that little gunship, and the gnome is talking to you on the radio and the lieutenant's talking to the radio. That was so cool to do that. You can't do that right now. They disabled it. Their fix for all that traffic was just when you accept that quest, it auto completes it, which I guess is okay because you wanted to get people out of that starting zone and fix the lag from that zone from it being overpopulated. But you think now, hey, you probably can do that quest, right? Because nobody's there. The traffic has died down significantly. There is no traffic. No, you still can't do it. It still auto completes it for you. Why have they not turned that off? I wanted to experience that quest, and now I'm just not going to, unless I level a 3rd all, which I don't really want to right now. And by the time I level that 3rd all, maybe they still haven't turned it back on yet. But that's not the only issue we've seen, and that's one of the most minor issues that we've seen. For 2 weeks straight, dailies weren't working correctly. So their fix was just giving us the same dailies for those 2 weeks. Now look, that's not totally a bad thing. I got the White Tiger Temple dailies for a week straight, and I love those dailies. So I didn't complain too much, and I built some good muscle memory doing all the dailies because they were always the same. But players were still robbed of getting to experience the other dailies that existed. And if I didn't level an alt, I would have never known there were other dailies, because my main already reached Exalted with most of the reputations before they fixed the issue. And then one of the worst issues that was just recently fixed, I think, was layering. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten layered for no reason in situations that were so frustrating it ruined my game experience. Just this past lockout, me and my guildies were waiting in a raid team for Galleon to respawn, and then we randomly got layered to a layer where he had just died. And by the time we got back, not all of my guildies could get to it by the time he died, so they just straight up missed that kill. And by the way, Galleon's on like a 2-hour respawn timer. Some people only have like an hour to 2 hours to play. So if you spent your time waiting for him to respawn just to get layered, that was your entire day wasted. I've also gotten layered just trying to do dailies. I've gotten layered from my friends trying to do dailies together to make them go by faster. I've gotten layered trying to kill a rare, so I lost that tag. It's just so incredibly frustrating. And then there was the raid release. Guess what happened then? The raids were released right on server reset, not the many hours later that they were supposed to release. And world bosses also existed for like 10 minutes, so people killed them. Now they didn't get loot, and the players who entered the raid early were punished, which they should have been. I'm full team punish people who exploit. I am tired of the phrase exploit early, exploit often. If you exploit, you should be banned. That's it. But these exploits shouldn't even be possible to begin with. How do we mess up something like releasing the raids at the right time? Now, I've only canceled my subscription once, and it was during WoD. I just couldn't play it. I was like, this sucks. I don't want to play anymore. Last week, I almost quit. I straight up almost quit playing WoW Classic. From all the bugs and experiences that I deal with, I was almost out. But I write for Wowhead, I like my YouTube content, and I like my guildies, so I didn't quit. And I don't regret that because I still have fun raiding, and the game is pretty playable now. But here's the issue. There are still a plethora of bugs I didn't mention. And we have to stop and realize, guys, we pay a monthly sub for this game. Why am I paying a monthly sub for a game that didn't get finished or wasn't really playable for 3 weeks? How did we not get free game time from this? This is just, it's seriously unacceptable that we're paying for this. And maybe I'm looking at TBC and Wrath with rose-tinted goggles, but did we have any bugs like this on their launches? I know like Wrath, if you were on Benediction, was like an 18,000 player queue, but were there bugs? Was it unplayable when you logged in? So what's like made these last 2 releases just so bad? Let me know down in the comments if you know like what happened from Wrath to now. What's going on? But let's move on to the actual numbers themselves and why these numbers are happening in Classic. Surprisingly enough, even though I just shat all over the game with the bugs and whatnot, I don't think they're solely responsible or even a major factor in these numbers. Guys, these numbers are low because it's just Classic Burnout. There really isn't like hype for these re-releases anymore. And to give MoP credit, it had to follow Cataclysm, which wasn't that loved back then and did not get a lot of love on its re-release. Cataclysm did well at launch because it followed Wrath of the Lich King, arguably the most beloved expansion ever in WoW history. Look at the chart right here. Look at Cataclysm's numbers midway through the end. That's terrible. And you think, well, Season Discovery was surely outbidding them, right? No, they were lower than that too. There was no way MoP was going to generate TBC numbers. It wasn't going to happen. MoP's numbers aren't bad because of MoP. It's just bad because Classic releases, just like I said earlier, don't have that hype anymore. And when you pair that with other versions of WoW getting new content released, with Anniversary getting AQ and the War Within getting its final content patch, players really have to pick which version of the game they're going to play. If you're raiding an Anniversary, there is no way you have time for MoP. You're not just raiding an AQ, you're doing all of the raids because you need gear in all those raids. And there are 5 raids out right now. And you're also farming your gold for consumables. You're definitely not buying gold off third-party sites because that's against TOS. I mean, I'm not. And like I mentioned earlier, retail just got its final content patch out and we're getting the midnight trailer next week at Gamescom. There's a lot of hype for retail and people are really enjoying this last patch. Even though it had a terrible launch too, I've heard really good things about it now. I'll probably try it myself soon. Going back to Anniversary, however, they're also on record low numbers as well, down to 82,000 logged players. Now, this number was expected with AQ, and it'll only get lower as AQ progresses. And I'm predicting we'll only see a small uprise when Nax is out, as most players will clear Nax a couple of times and then wait until TBC pre-patch before you start some traffic generating on those servers again. Currently, WoW Classic is in its most niche state it's ever been in. There really isn't hype from like content creators as well to play this game, which does, whether you like it or not, generate traffic in your game, especially with a lot of the WoW content creators playing old school RuneScape right now. Now, that's just a trend. By the way, it's not going to last forever. I promise you it's not going to last forever. So do I think WoW Classic is dead? No. Far from it. Do I think the devs are panicking and they're freaking out like, oh my gosh, we're terrible? No. I'm sure they saw this coming too, man. They saw the numbers from Cataclysm. They knew they weren't going to generate TBC and Wrath numbers. They knew that. I do think, however, this is a good thing. With that server going out that asked where you wanted to go after MoP, and one of the options was Warlords of Draenor, I hope now looking at these numbers that they're inspired to just stop these re-releases at MoP. Stop on a good note, because the numbers are only going to get lower with WoD, and they're not going to get that much higher with Legion either. I promise y'all that. Financially, it's just a bad decision to keep going with these re-releases. So I hope they can focus on other projects for Classic WoW, like Classic Plus, the thing I want to happen, or something like SOD, just a lot better, Classic Plus. So to go back to the question I asked at the start of this video, and basically the whole point of this video, can we call MoP Classic a success right now? My ruling is kind of. Like, the launch experience itself was terrible. It was unacceptable, borderline unplayable. I'm shocked we didn't get free game time because of how bad this was. But is MoP a really good expansion? I really do think so. And I'm glad that I get to experience it truly for the first time and others get to replay it because it is a beloved expansion. Whether you personally like it or not, throughout the WoW community, this is one of arguably the better ones we got. I mean, look at its neighbors, right? We had Cataclysm before and WoD after. That makes MoP look like one of the best versions ever, just by default. I do worry, however, for the future of MoP Classic already, because we know that Phase 2 has no new raids. So we're not getting Throne of Thunder, which is one of the most hype raids in MoP, until Phase 3, which gives me Cataclysm Classic vibes, because we had 6 months of Phase 1 raids, and we didn't get Firelands until Phase 3, which was the raid everyone was hyped for. I'm really hoping Blizzard can learn their lesson and release that raid a lot sooner, because if you don't, you're gonna line up Throne of Thunder with the Burning Crusade, and you can bet your ass that people are gonna quit MoP for TBC. But if you've released Throne of Thunder before TBC, like plenty of time before TBC, then by the time we get TBC out, Throne of Thunder is almost on farm or is on farm. So players can easily raid log in MoP and progress their characters on TBC without worrying about falling behind in MoP. but giving Blizzard's track history on releasing content at the same time, like we're seeing right now, I don't have much faith that we're gonna get that. Now, this is my first video in a while that's been kind of negative. I don't really like doing negative videos, but I really had to get my opinion out there. It's just, we were not given a release that's justifying me paying a monthly subscription for this. It just wasn't good. And I hope my feedback is constructive and the devs don't take this as offensive. Because again, I am very appreciative of them and they do work hard. I do know that. Just this wasn't good. But guys, if you like this video, please subscribe if you're new to the channel, leave a like, and comment down below how you feel right now about Classic WoW. Are you playing MoP? Despite all the bugs, are you still enjoying it? I can't stress this enough. I do like Mists of Pandaria. I'm happy I get to play it truly for the first time. It just sucks at how glitchy and buggy it is. Let me know how you feel about all this though. And as always, thanks for stopping by and saying hi. Follow me on twitch.tv/TrudyGD. My videos won't be as frequent with me going back to work, but I'm still gonna make videos. I'm not done making content. It's just gonna be a little slower now. I'm just rambling, you guys, so I will see y'all in the next video.